Good afternoon and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about the vehicle mode for Transformers Studio Series 86, the movie Bonecrusher, in this cute little bulldozer. Now, today's video, we are going to be going over, textures, how it feels in the hand, comparing him to the other Constructicons we've gotten so far, and we'll be doing a size comparison with Jazz and wherever Solus Prime ran off to. Ah, here she is, Solus Prime. So, let's get into today's video with the comparisons. And please go below, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. All those things go a long way to helping me raise awareness for the blind and the visually impaired, and also helping me finally get up to that 3,000 watch hours so that YouTube can start paying me some money. So come on, help me out with that. Run this playlist in the run the playlist for More Than Meets the Eye in the background if you have to, but I definitely need some help with those watch time hours. My watch time hours are abysmal, and anything that y'all could do to help me increase those watch time hours would be amazing, and I'd appreciate you forever for that. So let's compare these guys. So we got Bulldozer and Scrapper right here in front of me, and I'm putting them back to back, like the very end of each of them is measured up. So we see that Scrapper in his vehicle mode with his with this little big old bucket is actually longer than the Bulldozer, but not by much, like millimeters. Now let's go ahead and raise up that bit and raise up your Bulldozer blade and take a look at what's underneath. There we go. Raise them both up, and we got that they are the same length. When both of them are raised up, actually, Scrapper still got just a bit on Bonecrusher. But height-wise, Bonecrusher and Scrapper are the same height. That's wild that happened. And width-wise, we get that Bonecrusher is the thinner guy. The Scrapper here is a very wide dude in comparison to Bonecrusher. So that is the comparisons there. Let's set Scrapper off to the side. He can live over there. And we've got our Road Hauler. Now, Road Hauler is a lot longer than Bonecrusher. Road Hauler is about the same height as Bonecrusher, and Road Hauler and Bonecrusher are the same width. I think that's kind of neat. Yeah, look at that. That's wild. They are the same width. That's cool. So, that's a little comparison of those three, and then set Road Hauler down over here. We've got Studio Series 86 Jazz to give you an idea of what's going on here. 86 member, 86 member. Excuse me. There we go. And on the back end, and they line up perfectly. Like that's wild. Bonecrusher definitely is a deluxe class. Look at that. Even there. The measurements are for the front of Jazz exactly aligned, but for the back, his back wheels are a little wider than Bonecrusher. So we can set Jazz off to the side. And what's the final one? Right. Solus Prime. To give you an idea of the new Prime. Here we go. Solus Prime compared to, and I like Solus Prime's weird vehicle mode. I just love it. And it's the same length as Bonecrusher. Width-wise, Bonecrusher and Solus Prime are the same width. Nice. So, today, let's take a look at this Bonecrusher. We don't need the gun, but I like putting the gun on that little siege port right there. So, Bonecrusher is a bulldozer with a gun. And, I can't think of anything more terrifying than a bulldozer with a gun. It's just, this is a machine built for destruction, that's for sure. All right. Now, texture-wise, this guy and Scrapper are very similar in the, not very many textures going on here. And I talked about this in the Scrapper video, and I was pretty harsh on it in the Scrapper video. But this one's a little better, because we've got these engine textures going on right around where the bulldozer blade is on the side of the vehicle. We've got these indents that feel like they are part of an interior engine for him. And we got a little smokestack, which I appreciate the smokestack. Now, on his back end, let's see, we'll actually start from the front. So the front, now this blade for Bonecrusher is already better than the blade for Scrapper, because we've got some interior details etched into the blade. We got this little half circle thing that comes that's etched into the blade itself. It's really nice. And then, of course, on the edge of the blade, we've got some other little etchings. You can trace your thumbnail down the side of that one. That's the stuff I was kind of looking for in Scrapper, because his blade is very minimalistic. It's kind of lackluster. You know, his big old bucket. It's got these teeth in the front of it, but that's just about it when it came to the textures for it. So I'm very happy that Bonecrusher has more going on his little bucket blade than Scrapper does. Now let's go over here to the though the blade can also like pick up and just rest on top of the engine, but for the most part it just stays down. Now he doesn't have any caster wheels, so you know he just slides like sliding things do, and he can just slide across. But you know that also makes it where he's better at doing 360s. Yeah, he's better at doing donuts because he doesn't have wheels. Um, but there's not much to talk about with this guy. We got the front here. The very front of the engine has got these really nice, it's grill work. We've got some vent action going on there, and that's wonderful. On the sides, we talked about that engine a minute ago, but for the most part, the sides do have some textures. There's like lines and stuff, but not many. Not many. It's very smooth, very sleek, and you come over here to where the pilot would sit, and this is probably the this is like the least they could have done whenever it came to making a spot for like a pilot to sit or something. But you know it works because at least this one makes you feel like a bigger person could sit in it. But for some reason, I approve of this weird canopy thing more than I approve of the weird canopy thing for Scrapper. Because with Scrappers, it's so small, and then you have these little ladders on the side that make you think, you know, Scrapper here is he's not 1 inch scale in vehicle mode. But with the Bulldozer here, you get kind of a different feel. You get the feel that this is closer to 1 inch scale in a vehicle than Scrapper was. And I really approve of that because I want all of my deluxes, my CHUG scale stuff, to be the correct scale in robot and vehicle mode. And I understand that's not always the easiest thing to accomplish. So I'm very happy that they did manage to accomplish it with this Bulldozer. Very nice little Bulldozer mode. Now we come around here to the back end of it, and we got some more textures, but there's not really much going on. There's this indent in the back where the back treads stick out a little further than the rest of the vehicle. And I do think that there could have been something to be done with that, maybe, but I think that's actually just how bulldozers are. You know, it's been a long time since I've seen a bulldozer, so I'm pretty sure though that they've always had this little end on them that sticks out. So I do like the fact we get these little metal pieces on top of the treads to be the little area that protects a person from actually, you know, being consumed by the treads by accident. So they can climb up the back, you know, get into the bulldozer from the rear and get into the canopy area, and keeps them from getting eaten by these treads or anything like that. Now we flip him upside down, and upside down, you know, he's got all of his stuff. That piece that unfolds for Devastator mode is nicely folded in there. Very clean underside of this vehicle mode. Very clean sides, very clean top. This is a really, really nice vehicle mode, and the only negative to it that I can find are these two hinge pieces that stick out. But it works for a construction vehicle. Though I do think that the people that sculpted this could and this is something I wish they had done instead of putting the smokestack here at the front area, you could have put two smokestacks, one on top of these hinges, you know, one on each of the hinges. And then that way, these hinges that stick out a bit would have just been smokestacks, and them sticking out a bit would have made more sense. But that's my only gripe on this guy. He is an I'd give him, you know, his solidness. He is a solid guy. He's like a little cube. You know, he is a rock. And so I'm going to give him an A vehicle mode. I think he deserves the A. I wish that there was more texturing on him. I definitely wish that. So honestly, no, A minus. A minus vehicle mode. A plus transformation. A plus robot. So an average of an A. This is an A figure in my opinion. Nice little guy, compact, solid, and I think he's going to make a wonderful addition to the Devastator. Now, before we end today's video, let's just slightly transform him into what I assume he'll be doing in Devastator mode. So we just got to bring these things forward. Okay, and then this bucket will unclip and spin up, and then kind of just ease back down over the top of the bulldozer. And then we're going to pull this side out just a bit, and you get this little slidey bit going on there. That's so much better of a connection port. I know, it's a big old butthole for him between his legs, but it's going to work out very well for Devastator, because that's going to allow you to slide this guy onto Devastator. And then this piece will fold down and act as this elbow, and the articulation for the elbow. So it's the hope that the piece that gets added to this really does lengthen it out to be really nice. Like, I did not like the way the Combiner Wars guy combined together. It was very flimsy, very fragile, and the way it feels this time, it feels like they fixed those problems. But yeah, this is how he was in Combiner mode for Combiner Wars. You just kind of had these legs sitting on the sides, and they just added extra support to the rest of the robot. So yeah, and of course, if you hold onto this side, you look at that. That is going to be a 360-degree joint in the arm, and he'll be able to lift it up, and he'll be able to do, he'll have a 90-degree elbow, but you know what? That's not too bad. Not too shabby for a combiner. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed sharing my passion of these Transformers with you, and the fact that I think they can do a lot to assist the blind in that mind-hand coordination that they desperately need to learn after losing their sight. Because if you're a person who was born with eyesight and you live with eyesight your entire life, eye-hand coordination is the way that you know life. You're always doing that eye-hand coordination. But for people without eyes, we need to develop that mind-hand coordination, where you think and your hand does it. And and I found that Transformers are really, really excellent tools, superb tools at teaching you how to develop those mind-hand coordination skills. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please tune in next Prime. Next week, we are going to go over another figure. I haven't decided which one. We got a plethora to choose from. So tune in next week for the surprise. Bye-bye for now.